You're listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com.
Hey, look, we talking hip hop. A beat on the beat. Yeah, might keep me posted in the lobby with me, poison ivy with the topic. Oh, so jazzy got it, I forgot, but did no filter Friday. And they hit this show, you never know what you gon' hear next. But they don't need gimmicks, cause crazy intros are finesse. From politics and fashion, the gossip that I had you laughing, whatever tickles your fancy. Radio with the passion, every Friday like you stationing. Never know who may come in, like what they do in here. You can act missing, link and say something, I'm gone.
Well. Welcome to my Caucasian home.
You're so sad.
I am, and I'm devastated. Hey, this is your girl, Miss Poison Ivy.
And your girl also Jazzy.
And welcome to a special Black History Edition. I'm just kidding. Welcome to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNXradio.com. Jazz, I'm so excited.
I am too.
We be having so much going on.
Too much.
Like, people don't understand that, like, IBNX is life.
Yes.
However, it's some other parts of life that be hating on IBNX
Right.
and pulling us away.
Right.
So I'm just so happy to see your smiling face today,
Likewise.
and our wonderful engineer / leader Trish. Glad to see her.
Yes.
And tonight's episode is sponsored by Gas Station Wine.
Now, we know we've had a lot of conversation about not bringing no twist cap gas station wine in here, but convenience outweighed the cost today, so.
Well, what had happened was, yes,
Go ahead.
I had planned to go to the liquor store.
Uh-huh.
But see, somebody mama didn't get the memo that school gets out at 2:45. So I did not leave school till 3:30.
And that makes all the difference.
Yes, and that threw my whole chi off.
Right.
Then I had to go home. Then Ace was talking to me about food and other stuff.
They can't feed themselves.
No.
It's not possible.
It's the craziest thing. You're like, dude, you're a 30-something-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't feed you, you don't eat?
Basically, I'm telling you, basically.
I live it.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. Like, literally, if I don't make sure it's food in the house, you don't eat.
No, that's not even substantial because it could be food in the house and they looking at you like, what is there to eat?
Oh, it has to be. No. Yes, let me rephrase that. Food in the house that you can quickly pop in the oven or microwave.
Prepared food.
Yes, like frozen pizza.
Okay.
Or like Hungry Man meals.
See, that's not even good enough for mine.
No, he'll do that during the day if he absolutely is starving.
Mm-mm.
Otherwise, he'll literally starve all. Like, it's times where that'll be there and he'll starve all day till I get off. And then he's like, hey, can you bring me something to eat? And I blame myself.
You spoiled him.
I did. You know, he talked so much trash. But honestly, in the beginning, I used to cook every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Except Fridays and Saturdays. Those were my off days.
Which is typical.
Yeah. But I would cook Sunday through Thursday.
Right.
And at the time, I had quit my job and was like living La Vida Loca.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Susie Homemaker.
Girl. So I would get up and make him like these homemade breakfast sandwiches.
Yes.
And then I would make him a lunch. And then I would make him dinner and then bring dinner up to his job.
Look at you.
Yes.
He had it good.
Exactly. Then he had the nerve the other day to be like, well, you was making sandwiches. Okay, let me say this. Complain about your chick making sandwiches, first of all, when she's using regular bread. I never use regular bread. When I was making the homemade breakfast sandwiches, it was always like bagels or biscuits, or I was making biscuits every morning.
Yes.
Eggs, scrambled eggs, turkey bacon or sausage, cheese, you know, like
The whole nine.
the whole nine. Like
Yeah.
I went somewhere and bought this breakfast sandwich, and you had more than one, so you had multiple breakfast sandwiches. I would make at least like 6 in the morning.
You was living a life.
Yes, lunch. You might have had a sandwich for lunch, but your sandwich was like a Subway sandwich. I was buying hoagie bread, making, slicing the meat, dicing the lettuce and tomatoes, onions. Like I don't even eat onions, but I'm dicing onions, peeling onions, jalapenos, banana peppers, whatever he wanted on it. Like he went to Subway.
So now he can't live without it.
Girl, bye. My life is too, like, you got to think. I literally have 3 jobs.
Right.
3.
Yeah.
My school, I teach at the college, and then here.
Yeah.
I don't have time to like
No.
go home. And then when I like started working again, I would literally get off work, go home, cook, and then be back at his job with a home cooked meal by his 7 o'clock dinner time.
The saying "I need a wife," woman saying this comes into play. That'd be perfect for you.
Huh?
You need a wife.
I know. You know, somebody was saying, you know, Valentine's Day just passed.
Mm-hmm.
And all the little funny memes were
The side pieces getting their sides, they stuff today.
right. So, first of all, side piece funny. I ironically on the 15th left my laptop at home
Mm-hmm.
and went to work. And I just like tried to function without it. It just wasn't happening. So I had to go home and get it. So I showed up to get this laptop. And I guess Ace didn't hear me come in. And he's looking like, he said, "You almost got beat up walking in." And I said, "Why?" He told me, "You come sneaking in. I didn't expect you." I said, "No, that's what you needed to know. You don't know when I'm coming or where I'm going to be."
Yes.
Yes. You thought you was going to be out on side piece Valentine's Day? Not today. He
Nope.
busted out laughing. He was like, "You are so stupid." I was like, "Yeah, but I would have caught you and the side piece
Okay.
today." Do you ever worry about that?
Catching him with a side piece?
Like, if there is a side piece.
No, not at all.
I don't either. Like, why? I can't
Why?
worry about that.
I'm good enough for you. Period.
I can't worry about that because that's too stressful.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I'm like. If not saying it can't happen,
Right.
Because it can happen to anybody,
Right.
but I'm not worried about it happening. Period. Just because that's an insecurity in my opinion, and that's not what I have. So
To me, I feel like, yeah, I think I'm the shit enough where that you should understand. You can have a side piece. She'll never be me.
I'm as
And if
humble
I
as
find
can
out,
say it.
it's your loss.
Right, definitely. As humble as I know how to say it, I'm that bitch.
So I was laughing because Valentine's Day with the memes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, which meme was it? It was an amazing meme. There were so many. My
The internet
favorite
wins every day.
My favorite was the color purple one, where it was Miss Seeley. It was the scene where she used to ask Mister if any mail came from her.
Yeah.
And it was like, it said something like, "It's a lot of people standing at the security desk at their job. Like,
Right.
anything come for me?"
I've seen that one. I've seen it.
So I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Valentine's Day was really interesting.
This
Did you do
year
something
was
special?
no, I didn't do anything. Unfortunately, the Parkland shooting happened, and I went to school in Parkland, Cool Springs area. So
Oh,
it was
no,
a
I
lot
didn't know
of
that.
Yeah, I went to school there. I literally lived 5 minutes away. Like if I would have lived on the other side of the street, I would have went to that school. So it was a lot of friends calling me saying that their sister, brother, cousin was at the school. They can't get in contact with them, so we didn't do anything.
Oh no.
Yeah, too close to home this time.
You know what's so interesting is that morning, because you know I run the school, I have to do drills,
Yeah.
and so I have decided February I was like gonna knock all my drills out as quickly as possible. So I did a lockdown drill
Mhm.
that morning, and I did it at level 3, which is the highest level that there is. That means you need to lock all doors, hide everything. Nobody should be able to see you.
Okay.
And some of the teachers couldn't find their keys to lock their door.
That's unacceptable.
And it was to have Parkland happen that night
Yeah.
was really scary because I was telling the teachers, like, if I were a trespasser or an active shooter, I could have accessed you and your kids.
Right.
Your key is not something that you just throw in a drawer like, oh, I don't ever need it.
Right.
You need that.
And see, when I was going to school, the teachers always had that little wire thing on their arm with little keys. So, I mean, but it's definitely an eye-opener. And not that any other shooting has never affected me, because it has. You know what I'm saying? It's always a damn type situation.
Right.
But for this to happen with people you know, and you know exactly where it is, it's like you can't have that mentality of you're exempt or it can't happen to me. So it's an eye-opener for everybody across the country.
Well, the interesting thing is this boy no longer even attended the school.
Right.
And that's the thing that's scary because, you know, I teach my class
Mm-hmm.
at the college, and it's my favorite class this semester. That's what I'm
Yeah.
doing again. And I changed the whole lesson plan for Thursday
Okay.
because the class is called Social Issues and Family Involvement.
And that is definitely a social issue, and
Exactly.
family involvement definitely plays a major part.
Exactly.
In that, a major part.
So we spent the day discussing missed opportunities to potentially curve a student like that. And what prompted me to do it, it's so funny because it was a decision to change the lesson,
Mm-hmm.
like while I was standing in front of them preparing for the day about to start. Like literally, the class starts at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I usually give them a 10-minute grace period to get there. It was 6:05, and one of my students came up to me to talk about a training.
Okay.
I had attended a training last week, and ironically, one of my students was in the class. And the training was for this new teacher evaluation tool about supporting students with emotional or behavioral issues.
Mm-hmm.
And the training pissed me off.
Why?
First of all, I was sitting there, and when I saw my student, I was like, please don't let her absorb this stuff because it flies in the face of everything I taught her
Mm-hmm.
in a previous class.
Right.
Because she had taken my guidance and classroom management class.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's in my social issues. So I was hoping she wasn't accepting this stuff we were learning in the training because it was ridiculous. We watched this video where we're supposed to observe this teacher. And the teacher, for 2 hours, ignored a child that was crying. So you're talking about a 4 or 5-year-old that is crying. Now, we found out he was crying because it was like his second or third day of school, which is normal.
Mm-hmm.
But she is literally on the video telling the other kids, just ignore him. He'll be fine.
Oh no. There's no age of a school child that you should ignore that's crying.
Exactly.
Whether it be elementary, middle, or high school.
So it pissed me off. I shut down and stopped paying attention because the presenter was like justifying her ignoring him. Like it says in the materials, acknowledge or ignore the behavior is acceptable. No.
Not at all.
No. Are you kidding?
Not at all.
And that's one of the things I try to get my kids to understand my students to understand is the kids that come to us come with so many different issues that we can't control.
Right.
So a kid in your class crying could be a myriad of things
Right.
that you don't even know.
Right.
You don't ignore it. You acknowledge it. I think about, so when the Parkland thing happened, it made me think about that boy. And I wondered how many times was he crying out and ignored? Now, and I don't ask that question to justify what he did. There's no justification.
Right.
Like, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like he needs to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But I do think about missed opportunities. Here is a boy who at one point was exhibiting whatever behavior and got expelled from school.
Right.
So my question is, what supports were provided to him prior to the expulsion?
I thought that too. And just so ironically, while I'm at work, I like to watch TV. Okay.
Wait.
On my phone. Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Can we please acknowledge how inappropriate that is?
My work gets done, baby, okay? All right. So I was watching a show on Showtime, and it's called Active Shooter. And basically, it's just like a documentary series of
I've seen
all
it.
this, of all the shooting that's taken place in the United States.
Right.
Pulse was one of them. And a shooting that I didn't even know about in San Bernardino was one of them as well. And it just so happens that kid, he had troubles. He had troubles in school as well.
Okay.
And he had threatened some kids, or he did something, and the authorities got involved. And following that, he was sent to some psychiatric ward, or some type of alternative school where they dealt with his mental issues. And he still ended up shooting up doing this. He still ended up having a mass shooting, and it wasn't as bad as Parkland was, or any other shooting for that matter, but it still happened. So it's not to say that addressing it won't prevent something from happening.
Right.
But it definitely scaled it back a lot. It didn't happen at the high school that he was attending at that time. It happened in the public streets of San Bernardino, then it went to the college and then in the neighborhood. But you can't ignore it. And one of the officers in the documentary said, we need to implement something where we have to follow up with these people, because mental illness does not go away.
No, it doesn't. And the thing that, is interesting is, for some of these people, it's not even...
I wouldn't even consider him to be a mental illness.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not a mental illness.
I think it's a lack of emotional... They don't have the resources and tools to deal with their emotions. And
I agree.
And potentially, if provided the right ones, some of this behavior could be curbed. Because at the end of the day, you think about kids being bullied.
Right.
I'm being bullied at school. And then here's a teacher ignoring me. The teacher potentially is telling other kids to ignore me, which is allowing the bully to be rampant. I go tell my parents, they call the school doesn't really do anything.
Right.
Like, this boy was expelled, and the school board is like, we don't know anything about what happened. We don't know why. I mean, the district level.
Right.
And I'm like, how?
Right.
How is there no one at the district level who knew about an expulsion?
Right.
But it's so funny because communication is a huge thing. Like, my district stresses communication.
Right.
And I do like that, because the ball gets dropped if people are not communicating. One of my students was telling me about her son being in a class, and the teacher was saying how he's not doing well because he just doesn't want to, and he's shutting down, and he's not performing.
But there's a reason, though.
And she says to her, are you following his IEP? And she says, he has an IEP. It's February. So this child has been in your class since July, and no one told you he had an IEP?
Right.
It took the parent coming in because you called about a behavior issue to tell you?
That's what it is. But prayers out to them. I hope... that's going to take a lot of time for them to heal over that. Definitely a lot of time. But everyone will have their opinions on how they think that it can be prevented. But until things start getting implemented and trial and error, it's not going to come to that.
No, and I totally agree, and that's why I say, there's a saying, you learn everything you need to learn about life in pre-K.
It's a nice saying.
So think about, you learn how to be polite, you learn how to be kind, you learn how to interact with people, you learn about feelings.
Right.
You learn colors, you learn letters, you learn numbers, all of the basics that you need, that you build upon.
Right.
But your foundation is built in pre-K. If I am in pre-K and I am expressing my feelings and you are ignoring me, you are already creating a barrier for me.
Right.
Where I feel like either A, if I express my feelings, it's going to get ignored. Or B, I feel like I have to go above and beyond to get noticed.
Right.
So, like, that's when you start to see kids who will cry, and then if they're ignored, then they'll start to hurt other kids or hurt themselves or do other things.
Right.
And that behavior doesn't change as we get older.
Right.
And so I don't know if there's any interventions that could have prevented Parkland. I don't know if there's any interventions that could have prevented any of the other school shootings that have happened this school year, which is ridiculous. It's February. Mid-February.
I don't think anything can prevent anything, but you can always say that you did all that you could. You know what I'm saying? We can't excuse any behavior. he's what, 17 years old?
19.
He's 19. Okay, so he knows what he did was wrong. No matter what your mental illness is.
Well, and that's why I say I'm not saying what I'm saying to excuse him. There's no excuse. I want to be very clear on that. However, I wonder if at times we miss opportunities to curb some behaviors.
And I agree with you. I'm just saying the individual determines how, because just like how we said, you know, in elementary school or kindergarten, you learn how you deal with your feelings. Either you're going to bottle them up or you're going to lash out on other people, you're going to cry. You as an individual determine how you as an individual are going to handle it. Some people commit suicide because they're going through what they're going through. He decided that he wanted to do this in this type of way. So I don't think anything could have prevented it, but I think there's other things that could have been done to
provide support,
so he maybe wouldn't have done what he did. Because I don't think this is something that he just woke up on February 14th and said, you know what, let's go.
So we're going to take a quick break. Kind of heavy, and I want to get light. Take some of this weight off our shoulders. You're listening to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNX Radio with Oh So Jazzy and Ms. Poison Ivy. IBNXradio.com.
If you're not listening to Word of Mind Radio, then you're seriously missing out. Hosts Trey Grizzy and Nine Ether share their perspectives on everything from social issues that affect our communities to relationships and trends that affect us all. Guaranteed to teach you something new. Word of Mind is engaging.
The only way that we can do this is do it together. So I love you.
We all love you for
empowering.
Somebody dropped the ball somewhere because we want our kids to forget the struggles that we went through. But the struggles that we went through is what got us to where we are now.
And definitely entertaining.
You know, she probably got one of them wholesome names like Gertrude, but back in the day they called her Gertie. They called her
Dirty Gertie.
Dirty Gertie. Flirty Gertie. You know what I mean?
Oh, y'all are horrible.
Yeah.
Tune in and learn up every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on IBNX Radio.
Harassing. Imagine going to court with no trial. Lifestyle cruising blue Bahama waters. No welfare supporters. More conscious of the way we raise our daughters. Days are shorter, nights are colder. Feeling like life is over. These snakes strike like a cobra. The world's hot, my son got knocked. Evidently, it's elementary. They want us all gone eventually. Trooping out of state for a plate. Knowledge, if coke was cooked without the garbage, we'd all have the top dollars. Imagine everybody flashing, fashion, designer clothes, lacing your click up with diamond rolls. Your people's holding dough, no parole, no rubbers. Going raw, imagine law with no undercovers. Just some thoughts for the mind. I take a glimpse into time, watch the blunt read, the world is mine. If I rule the world, imagine that. I free all my sons. I love them, baby. Black diamonds and pearls. Could it be, if you could be mine, we both shine. If I rule the world, still living for today. In these last days until where to be. Paradise life relaxing. Black, Latino, and Anglo-Saxon. Amani exchange the range. Cash, lost tribe of Shabazz. Free at last. Brand new whips to crash. Then we laugh in the illa path. The villa houses for the crew. How we do. Trees for breakfast. Dime sexes have been stretches. So many years of depression make me vision the better living. Type of place to raise kids in. Opening eyes to the lies. History's told foul. But I'm as wise as the old owl. Plus the gold child. Seeing things like I was controlling. Click rolling. Tricking 6 digits on kicks and still holding. Trips to Paris, I civilized every savage. Give me one shot, I turn tripe life to lavish. Political prisoner, set free, stress free. No work release, purple M3s and jet skis. Feel the wind breeze in West Indies. I think Coretta Scott King, mayor of the cities, and reverse things to Willies. It sound foul, but every girl I meet to go downtown. I'd open every cell in Attica, send them to Africa. Imagine that. I free all my could it be, if you could be mine, we both shine. If I rule the world, still living for today, in these last days of time. We'll walk right up to the sun, hand in hand. We'll walk right up to the sun, we won't land. Chevy. Duck down in car seats, heat's mandatory. Running from Jake, getting chased, hunger for papes. These are the breaks, many mistakes go down out of state. Wait, I had to let it marinate. We carry weight, trying to get laced. Flip the A, stack the safe. Millionaire plan to keep the gap with the cocked hammer. Making moves in Atlanta, back and forth scrambler. Cause you can have all the chips, be poor or rich, still nobody want a nigga have a shit. If I rule the world and everything in it, sky's the limit. I push the Q45 infinite. It wouldn't be no such thing as jealousies or beef felony. Strictly living longevity to the destiny I thought I'd never see, but reality struck. Better find out before your time's out. What the fuck?
If I rule the world,
imagine that.
I free all my sons. I love 'em, baby. Black diamonds and pearls.
Could it be? If you could be mine, we both shine.
If I rule the world,
Still living for today in these last days and times.
if I rule the world,
Imagine that.
I free all my sons. If I love 'em, baby. Black diamonds and pearls.
Could it be? If you could be mine, we both shine.
If I rule the world,
Still living for today in these last days and times.
if I rule the world, if I rule, I free all my sons. I love 'em, baby. Black diamonds and pearls. If I rule the world, if I rule the world, I love 'em, baby.
Welcome back. You're listening to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNXradio.com. So, Jazz,
Yes.
we were talking about Corinne Gaines.
Yes.
And, nope, that's what's up. I'm not talking about it.
Okay.
So, I was talking about
Lips.
Lips.
Atlanta.
Ooh, yes. So, those who don't know, Lips at Atlanta does the drag show.
Yes. But
And-
it's also a full-fledged restaurant, though.
It is. Okay, so my girlfriend, I hope she's not listening because I'm about to tell this story. And this is so funny because she doesn't know this.
Okay.
So my girlfriend had decided to have her birthday party at Lips.
Uh-huh.
So one of my guy friends joked that she was having her party there because she was going to come out the closet.
I'm coming out, right?
So after the fast forward, the party was on Saturday. Sunday, I didn't talk to him. Monday, I called him. I was like, yo, you were right. He was like, what happened? I said, she came out the closet. He was like, for real? I was like, yep. He was like, are you kidding? I was like, nope. Showed up with a girlfriend and everything. He was like, oh my God. She had a girlfriend. I said, yep. I was like, and the girlfriend is the dude. He was like, for real? Like, I had a whole conversation, just like gassing him up. Then I finally was like, no, I'm just kidding. So she had her party there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was family and friends. It was mostly family and like literally a couple of friends. She has a teenage daughter who came to town from college to participate, which was so cool because we're like so much more open than like her 19-year-old daughter is. So the daughter was sitting there looking uncomfortable and we were cracking up watching her. So we go to Lips and when you first walk in, they tell you. Yes, the hostess is there at the door. And the hostess tells you, you can go to the bar, we'll call for your table.
Right.
So I get there first. So I check in for our party.
And they are very strict with reservations because they do. Every time that I've been, they have been packed out.
Well, the interesting thing is, we originally were trying to go for, I guess, the 8 o'clock show.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all,
I'm refused to take anywhere that gas station wine. Like I'm still
Jazz. So, side note, I bought wine because I told you I was rushing, but I wanted us to have drinks. We had not drunk in a while.
Right.
So I bought Sutter Home from the gas station.
She did.
A Sutter Home Moscato with a twist off.
Right.
And you know how we feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jazz is refusing to refill her cup.
I refuse.
She's like, no, you're gonna take that bottle
It's
home.
okay. Next Friday's my turn, and I will be hitting up the liquor store.
Please listen.
Sorry, this is Georgia. The package store, and
You know what I realized I need to do? I need to go on Thursday because every
That
time
would be
I,
good.
you know what? It used to be that I could go on Friday on my way here and be fine.
right, but we're earlier now.
Yes, and so that throws my whole chi off. I can't get it. So, anyways, back to lips. So,
Whose drinks, by the way, are just amazing.
so we get to lips. I'm there first. They tell me to go to the bar. It's not that many people at the bar because I'm early.
Okay.
We were at the 6 o'clock show.
Okay.
I go to the bathroom, touch up my makeup and that kind of stuff. I come back and I see my girlfriend's sister and her mom come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I speak to them, we talk, we stand at the bar. So then a few more people come and then finally they start seating us.
Okay.
So we've got like amazing seats close to the stage.
Yeah, which is hard to get.
Yes, I was like, thank gosh. Like there were good seats. So I've got like really good videos, photos, all kinds of stuff. So what people don't understand about Lips is, like you said, it's not just the drag show. It's a full-fledged restaurant. My meal was delicious.
It is.
Like, I didn't have to add anything to it. My chicken was seasoned well. It was juicy. The potatoes, the broccoli. Like, I got simple grilled chicken, potatoes, and broccoli. But it was delicious.
Right.
Like, you start with a Caesar salad. Everybody gets that. You get your entree, and then there's a dessert. And it can be pricey
Yeah.
to some people. But I think
I
for
think it's
dinner
worth
and a
it.
show, it was worth it.
Yeah.
I think it ended up being maybe like $50 per person.
Not even, I don't think.
No, it did.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, on contrary, it depends on how many people are in your party.
We
add
had
that.
12 people.
Exactly. So,
So
it does depend
that
on how many
included
people
tip.
in your party. With the people that you have in your party, you have to order from a specific menu.
Right.
So
that included tip. So like for instance, if you looked at the menu, it said each entree was like $28.
right,
And then you paid, tip was included.
right.
And then any drinks
Which their drinks
were delicious.
delicious
Listen.
and so potent. Like
I had, so we got our first drink. We got the throw that bitch to the curb.
yes, love that.
And it was delicious.
It is.
So I had the bright idea to get a second one. When I tell you, like, 2 sips into the second one, my girlfriend and I looked at each other like, okay,
Oh,
we
shit.
don't drink like we used to. Like, I was like, can I get some water?
You felt that heat coming.
Listen, I had to get water, and I babysat that second one for the rest of the night.
Yes.
Like, it's
their
crazy.
bartender is heavy-handed.
Ace said I came home smelling like liquor, and I literally had 2 drinks. Like, he did not believe me. He was like, yeah, right. You were like,
And their
drinking.
drinks are good proportion too.
Yes, they're nice sized drinks. They don't skimp. And it's crazy because that second one, the first one had a lot of ice. So when I went to the bar to get the second one, I said to the guy, I said, can you go light on the ice? He said, sure. That was a mistake.
Right. It was.
Like, I had to add ice from my water cup to it because the ice helped.
Yeah.
So, but the show was so much fun.
It was. It always is.
Well, the interesting thing is a lot of guys don't want to go because they assume that the performers are going to like be all over them and all in their face and blah, blah, blah. But they weren't. And that's the one thing, like I was explaining to Ace, like if you didn't actively try to engage them, they just performed around you and didn't bother you. They weren't like touching on necessarily people who didn't seem engaged.
Well,
or
let's
anything
add
like that.
this. You don't have to, but you give them money.
Right.
You don't have to, so they're going where the money is. If you ain't got $1 in your hand, there's no reason for them to come to you. One time that I went, this is when I went to the one in Fort Lauderdale. She told one dude, like, look, boo, you ain't even my type, okay? Humble yourself, boo, you ain't even cute. So I think it's always a lot of women in there. A lot of women decide to go and have birthday parties, bachelorette parties, all types of things, divorce parties. But every time that I've gone, there have been men in the crowd, and they are straight men, and they have a great time.
Well, that's what's so funny is the straight men were even more involved and more over the top than the women were.
Because they're impressed. They're impressed.
So there was a bachelorette party.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3 bachelorette parties.
Yeah, there's always more than one.
There was like 10 birthdays. 2 of the birthdays were guys. Yes, and they were there with their wives.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is you had the option to get like a crown and some
Right, go on
extra
stage
little
and
stuff.
take the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go on stage, take a picture. So I made sure my girlfriend got to do that because
Right.
the one thing about me is I'm like the best friend to invite out for your birthday
Of course.
because I don't believe the birthday person is supposed to pay for
anything.
And I know a lot of people are like, well, you invited me out. Why should I have to pay? No, it's my effing birthday.
Right.
I need you to step up and make sure I'm straight. So, like, whenever I go out with my friends for their birthday, it really makes me mad when their other friends don't get it. Like, the birthday person, you didn't bring a gift. The least you could do is make sure they eat free
no
or
one
drink
brings
free.
gifts anymore. No one does that.
And I get that. So you didn't bring a gift. So put it on a drink.
Right.
Put it on my meal.
Right.
So
I agree.
So I ended up spending way more than I anticipated. I hope Ace is not listening. Because I ended up paying for myself, my girlfriend, and her daughter. Because at the end of the day, even if she paid for her daughter, she's still spending money on her birthday.
Right.
And then I bought her a drink.
And that defeats
too.
the purpose.
And then,
right.
like, other people bought her drinks too.
Oh, I was tipsy when I went to Lips. Everybody was buying drinks.
Yes.
Everybody.
So we had an amazing time. And I paid for her to get the little birthday thing too, which I don't mind because at the end of the day, if I got it, I'm gonna share it with my friends. Like, I've always been that person. I remember in high school, I had a girlfriend whose mom never gave her lunch money.
Right.
But she never went without lunch. We ate lunch together every day.
I hear you.
And when we got grown, at times she had better jobs than I did. We were 19 and she was working like at the post office, at the railroad, like good paying jobs at 19. So she used to look out for us. And then when I got older and started making more, I looked out for us. Like, that's what you do for your friends.
Called friendship, y'all.
Yes. And people don't get that.
People don't know about that anymore.
Like, my guy friend, he has like these epic birthdays.
Is that the one who had the party in New Orleans that we didn't go to?
No. I wish. No. This is the one. I don't think he's been on the show, but we should invite him to the show. You would love him. So he has the most epic birthday parties. Like, one year, I probably told this story before, but like literally it was 3 of us. We bought a VIP section, bottles, party.
Is he an Aries?
He is not.
Oh,
you said, is he what?
Is he an Aries?
No, he's not.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. But he's like one of my best guy friends since high school, since like literally the 8th grade, and he's so amazing. And I just like, I'm like, these chicks out here are crazy, because he should have been like snatched up a long time ago. Like, before I met Ace, my mom used to be like, so what's up with him? and only because it's ironically, my mom never met him when we were in high school.
Right.
She's on the school board for one of the counties, and she needed graduates of one of her high schools to come, and he switched schools when we were in high school, but we never lost touch. So he went to that high school, so I had him
I know
come.
who you're talking about. You said I can talk to him on Facebook. I remember him.
Yes. So my mom met him, and he came and he spoke, and he was just so amazing. My mom called me that night like, yo, what's up with your boy? Like, you tripping. You single, he's single, what's up? And I'm like, that's like my brother. Ugh,
right.
No. But I'm telling you, like, the lady that gets him is going to be like, so lucky.
Wow.
So we buy out the bar. We buy a section. We like, I mean, I know I alone dropped a couple hundred that night. He still put in money. His friends still put in money. We were so, like, I must have blacked out at some point. All I know is at one point I was on the curb sitting on my knees with he had a white coat over my shoulders. And I can remember hear people walk by and go, po thing, where her friends at? And it was only because he went to get the car, because I was so tore up I could not drive.
Ooh.
But we were right around the corner from my house, so he drove me home. And that's the other thing. Like, I was that tore up, and here's my guy friend who made sure I got home safely, made sure I was okay, got me in the house, made sure I went to bed, and didn't try to take advantage of the situation.
Right.
And then I had to go back, do the walk of shame, and get my car the next morning. But, I mean, then the next year, he has another party. I get there. As soon as I walk in, they're like, Tasha, shots started. Shots flowing. Like, and he's had girlfriends. Like, I typically, try to embrace his girlfriends and get to know him. Like, that year, his girlfriend was so drunk. She couldn't even go to the bathroom by herself.
Oh,
and I'm literally taking this girl that I just met that night to the bathroom. Literally.
Come on, baby. Let me pull your panties down.
Like, okay, I'm make sure I'm not looking. Come on, dear. Just making sure she was okay. Like, but that's what you do with friends.
Yeah.
When friends' birthdays come up, you show up and show out. He had a house party one year.
And this is not just any. First and foremost, let's be honest. A lot of y'all use that term "friends" loosely.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Tell
y'all.
me about
Everybody is friend. Everybody ain't your friend.
Hell
okay?
no. Some of these people shouldn't even be associates. They should be acquaintances.
Right. Period. But this is what you do with your friends, and you know which friends to do it with because you know for a fact, without a doubt, when your birthday comes around, they dropping money on you too. That's the reality of it.
Let me tell you something. He never misses my birthday. If I have something and I invite him, he's there. If he's got a new girlfriend, she got to understand this is my homegirl. You come in, get to know her. And some of them feel some kind of way because we're so close, and they're looking like, you gonna put in on her birthday, you gonna get her something? He like, hell yes.
Right.
And then I've been the same way. Luckily, like, Ace is understanding. Like, Ace has embraced my guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to the point where sometimes I'll like call him during the day, like, hey, what you doing? He's like, hanging with such and such. And I'm like, wait, my friend?
Right.
He's like, yeah. I'm like,
no, our friend.
Yes, right. Like when we went to Vegas, we went for my guy friend's birthday and they ditched me at some points.
I mean, that's just the reality of things, though.
But I love that.
Right.
So, I mean, one year he had a house party. And it was so amazing. It was so much fun. And, the music was going. We're having a good time. The police show up. So he cuts down the music and goes to talk to the police. So everybody's in the backyard being quiet, right?
Y'all was hiding in the backyard.
Yeah, because we were like in between the backyard and inside the house. So everybody's in the backyard being quiet. So he comes back and he says, all right, the police gone. And somebody yells, F the police. And then all of a sudden, the music drops and fireworks go off.
Stop.
I swear to God.
What is that movie called? What is it? Project X?
It was like Project X. I swear. Yeah, but this was years before Project X. So it was like, where the hell did those fireworks come from? Like, shot up out the ground. I mean, listen, if I hadn't been there myself, I would be like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
but I promise you, it was the crazy. This is why I say I should like write a book. Because the things that I've seen or been through are like so unbelievably amazing. But those are kind of the things that I love doing with friends. So Lips for me was an amazing adventure because, like, I've known several, people who dress in drag or people, I know a lot of people who are gay and I'm cool with them and that kind of stuff, but I had never been to the drag show. Yeah. And, I didn't know what to expect going into it. I was very open-minded. I didn't expect there to be straight men in there. Because most of the guys I know would never be comfortable with that. Right. Like, my girlfriend had invited one of our guy friends and he told me, if you can get Ace to go, then I'll go. And I said, you said that because you know he'll never go. He's like, exactly. So it was just amazing.
It is. It's always a good experience. And you have to appreciate their artwork because that's what it is. It's artwork. They take the time to get ready. They're not, understand that these people who are performing are not only performing, they're also serving you.
Right. They're the waiters and the waitresses.
They are serving you. Okay? Yes. So they're putting on a full-blown show and making sure that, because let me tell you, I've received some of the best service at this establishment than I've received anywhere else.
They were amazing. The service was amazing. The food was amazing. The drinks were good. The desserts, we had extra desserts. I took some desserts home. They were delicious. The hostess who hosted the show, not the one at the door, the MC, was funny, hilarious,
and she performs as well.
Yes, she performs. They had several performances, and the crazy thing is, all this happens in 2 hours. Right. And really, they give you an hour to eat and drink. Right. So you really only get like maybe 45 minutes a show, but it's so amazing. Like, you don't even care.
You don't even care. You don't even see the time going by because you're having such a good time.
I was disappointed that the time was up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta come back. I don't know what I'm coming back for or when I'm coming back, but I gotta come back. It was a great show.
Maybe we can do our birthday there this year.
Yes.
That'll be amazing.
Oh, I need to talk to you.
Oh, should we go to a break?
No. So, Martin Lawrence is doing a comedy show.
Is he?
He is.
Okay.
I got tickets.
Oh,
It's the 13th.
of this month.
April.
Oh, this month.
Oh, April. So
okay.
you should think about getting tickets so we can go.
Okay.
We
down.
may not be able to sit together, but at least maybe we could do dinner.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
I'm excited. Have you seen the lineup?
No.
Oh, I gotta look up the lineup to tell you because I was like, what? We gotta go. And the tickets aren't that bad. They start at $55.
Okay.
But I got floor seats for like $75.
Okay. No, I'm down. I love me a good comedy show. So.
So the tour is
April 13th. That's a Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I already told Ace he got to take off. It's called the Lit AF Tour.
Okay.
And it's Jay Farrell,
All right.
who is pretty funny from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Dion Cole. If you see him, you'll know him. If you don't
Okay.
know him by name. JB Smooth.
I love JB
Me
Smith.
too. Michael Blackson.
Love Michael Blackson.
Of course, Martin Lawrence.
Right.
D. Ray Davis.
I love D-Ray.
Ricky Smiley.
Okay.
You know he's going to do like church announcements and that kind of stuff.
Right,
Which
okay.
can kind of be funny
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Adele Givens.
I love Adele.
Bruce.
Uh-huh.
And Benji Brown.
I love Benji.
Mhm.
You know, he's from my city, so no,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
So, consider. I'm excited. It's so funny because a friend tagged me in that and said, if Monique is so dope, why she ain't invited on this tour? So for anybody that follows me on social media, you may have seen I have been fighting the good fight for Monique.
Yes.
And not because, wait, can we take a quick break and talk about this? Jazz,
She
you
gonna
okay
get
with
deep.
that?
I'm fine with it. She gonna get deeper, y'all.
You're listening to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNXradio.com. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna take a breath.
Drop top Porsche, rollie on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain. Cardi B straight stunning, can't tell me nothing. Bossed up and I changed the game. It's my big bronze boogie, got all them girls shook. My big fat ass got all them boys cooked. We're from dollar bills, now we popping rubber bands. Bruno sang to me while I do my money dance like, hey. Flexing on the gram like, hey. Hit that Lil Jon, okay. Oh yeah, we dripping and finesse and getting paid.
Ooh, don't we look good together? There's a reason why they watch all night long. Yeah, I know we got it going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, each and every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. JC Square on the Air Show featuring Jason J-Boy Carey for the socialite. JC Square on the Air. Reason Monday is your new favorite day of the week. Music. Special guest, celebrity birthday, the daily student segment, crazy holiday, and today in hip hop. Check out IBNX Radio and the JC Square on the Air Show. So much fun you didn't even realize you learned something. This message has been brought to you by Day Ray Media.
Hey, we're back. You're listening to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNXradio.com. So if you were listening before the break, we were getting into Monique.
Yes. Yes, you need to take a deep breath because this has been looming in the airwaves for quite some time. And I don't think she's going to get any recourse on the matter, but it's definitely worth speaking about because it's reality for a lot of black women, to be honest.
So let me say this. So I feel like I have kind of gone hard for Monique.
Mm-hmm.
And not because I am a Monique fan. Okay? Like, to be honest with you, Monique's all right.
She all right, yeah.
To me. You know, I'm not a huge, like, Monique fan. Like,
you got to run to the theaters anytime something of hers comes out.
Like, I'm a Dave Chappelle fan.
Okay.
If Dave Chappelle comes to town and I hear about it in time, I'm going to go get tickets.
Right.
Like, I like going to comedy shows, so I would go. Monique, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wouldn't go to one of hers by herself, but I would enjoy if she was on a lineup somewhere.
Like, I would have gone to Queens of Comedy.
Right.
But here's the thing about Monique. Whether you like Monique or not, okay, and let me classify that. Whether you like her as a comedian, think she's funny.
Right.
Whether you like her as a person, think she's a witch with a bee, or, you know, think she's cool.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore that Monique has built a career.
She has a successful career.
Exactly. Monique has had a successful TV show. Mm-hmm. She has done movies. She's done stand-up. She's been around for a while.
Yes.
So I have some friends that argue with me on Facebook. And their biggest argument is that Monique is not currently relevant.
Okay? But Dave Chappelle was gone for so many years.
10 years.
Dave Chappelle was gone for many, many years.
10 years.
And even before he left, although he was at the height of his career, he didn't touch as much platforms as Monique did. And that's just the reality.
And the thing is, Monique has won Oscars. She's won, you know, I think she got an Emmy. Mm-hmm. She's, you know, done other things. She's of all the comedians and who have crossover in acting.
Right.
She is the most decorated.
Right.
I mean, she is. Period, point blank. You could say she's not, but she is.
Right.
And people say, "Oh, well, most
That's
of those
for one movie.
It doesn't matter. She won.
The movie was that good that she was able to do that, and a lot of movies can't do that.
So what I was trying to explain to my friends. So Viola Davis has come out saying, "Stop saying I'm the Black Meryl Streep if you're not willing to pay me like you pay Meryl Streep."
Right.
Which I don't knock Viola for saying that at all.
Yeah.
But my question I posed on Facebook is, you all dogged Monique for saying something like this. Mm-hmm. Are y'all going to dog Viola?
No, of course not.
No. Why? Because most people don't like Monique's personality.
Right.
And the thing that I try to get people to understand is, regardless of how you feel about who she is as a person, you cannot ignore her resume.
Right.
Like my friend who says she's not relevant. I gave him the example. He used to work for the DA's office.
Okay.
He's worked for the DA's office in Atlanta. He's worked for the DA's office in other counties, you know, all of that. And I said to him, imagine if you tried to go back to the DA's office and they told you you got to intern first.
Right, because you've been gone for so long.
Because you've been gone for so long. You would look at them like, are you kidding me?
As if the years you put in doing it was
nothing.
Not substantial at
all. you would be like, get the hell out of here.
Right.
I'm not an intern.
Right.
Hell no.
And see, you also have to take in consideration if that was their process and procedures, okay, cool, that's their process and procedures. But what Monique is saying is that's not what it is. Amy Schumer is a fresh new face who's coming in and getting all these kind of, incentives to do the same thing that she's doing, and she's decorated.
And so here's the thing he argued. He said, well, Amy Schumer has headline tours by herself and made millions. She's also done movies by herself and done millions. So what my argument to him was, that is exactly what Monique is saying.
Right.
Monique is saying she won all those awards for Precious, but was not offered roles where she was the headliner. She was not offered roles to be the head of a movie. She was not offered roles to do tours by herself at major venues.
Right.
So you can't say, oh, well, Amy Schumer did this, because it's about access and opportunity.
Right. She's not doing it on her own. She's
Right.
not taking money out of her pocket.
Monique did not get the access and opportunity that any other woman, any other non-black woman.
Any other woman.
No, I'll say non-black woman.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to be honest about it, Viola Davis didn't really pop till she played a maid.
True.
And even then, even after she played the maid, she still had small roles. And what made her really pop out is her show.
Right.
If she hadn't done that TV show, she wouldn't be getting some of the roles that she's getting.
Right.
And that's what Monique is arguing. That's what Viola is arguing. Even, like, he brought up Wanda Sykes, and he's like, well, Wanda Sykes has sold out this, and she keeps touring to keep herself relevant. I said, but Wanda Sykes is defending Monique and saying Monique is right.
Right.
Wanda Sykes said Netflix lowballed her too.
Right.
Jada Pinkett Smith came out defending Monique.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what people don't understand is, listen, Monique can rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
She can. However, if I don't think I'm the shit, how can I expect anybody else to?
Very true.
When I walk in the door for a job, I expect to get that job.
Right.
In my entire career, I've only ever interviewed for one job and didn't get it. One. And ironically, people don't believe in like psychics and readers and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this is kind of off subject, but I had gone to a reader before the interview.
Interesting.
And when I walked in, she was talking to me and she says, "You got an interview coming up." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting, because how does she know that?"
Right.
She said, "And you're debating should you wear the pantsuit or the skirt suit," which I was.
Ooh.
She said, "Wear the pants." I said, "Okay," because that's what I've been debating.
Yeah.
She said, "But you're not going to get the job."
So the hell I'm wearing the pants for then.
Right. And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because you really don't want it, and it's not really what you want to do." And she said, "But you're still going to go through the motions because that's what you do, but
Right.
you're not." And so it's so funny that I went to that interview, and it was a group interview, which I hate group interviews.
Hate them. It's like interrogation.
So it was like, no, not even like a panel.
Oh, like interviewing a group of people at the same time?
Yes.
Ooh.
So you're talking about 20, 30 people in a room
That's
interviewing.
Stupid.
Stupid.
That's like a group.
Well, first of all, how do you invite people to a group interview and we don't even all have the same qualifications?
True.
So I'm sitting in there and I realized why she said what she said. First of all, I really didn't want the job. I just felt like, well, I had quit my job. I hadn't been working for like a year and a half. It's time for me to try to work.
Right.
So that was the first opportunity that came my way. I really didn't want it. She was right. I got in there and I was like, I hate this. And any organization that does group interviews, I don't even fool with them like that. It's just the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I had been out of the game. But I was not willing to come back to the game taking less than what I felt like I deserved.
Right.
Like my job now, if they hadn't offered me more than my last job, which had been 2 years, I would have been like, no. As a professional in any field, when you put in the work and you create the expertise and you hone your craft,
Right.
You don't take steps backwards, you take steps forward. Because once you start accepting lowball offers in your field, they will lowball you as much as they can.
Right.
That is why jobs ask you.
And you're going to spend so much time trying to get back to that level. It's going to take you taking step backs, whether it be financially, whether it be in a position title.
Yes.
It's going to take you so much time just to get back to where you were.
Yes. And that's why jobs ask you, what was your previous salary?
Right.
Because they want to keep you close to that if they can.
Right.
And if you're willing to take less, they're going to give you less.
And it's a gauge for them to say, okay, well, I want to know what you're getting paid now or before, because if I'm not there, you ain't never going to be happy here. And that's the reality of the situation. You're always going to feel like you're not getting paid enough.
For me, anybody who offers me a job at this point, you got to come better than my last job or I'm not interested.
Period.
So I don't knock Monique.
Not at all.
At the end of the day, you know, the one thing she said is, Amy Schumer got offered $10 million.
Yeah.
Amy Schumer said that's not enough. Went back to the table. They gave her 3 more.
Right.
If you watch the Amy Schumer Netflix special, and I say this as a person who likes Amy Schumer, I've watched every episode of Amy Schumer's show, which most people have not. Most people started paying attention to Amy Schumer when she did that little Milk Lemonade video with Method Man and Amber Rose.
Okay.
That's when most people of color started paying attention to her. I watch her stand up, I watch her show, all of that. Her Netflix stand up was not funny.
I'm not a fan.
And I'm a fan. And I'm saying this, that Netflix did not get $13 million worth. At all.
It feels like they're more so purchasing based on popularity more than talent.
Well, so I watched Monique's interview with Sway.
Okay.
And I encourage anyone who ever wants to weigh in on this debate to watch that before you open your mouth. So Sway and Heather B know Monique. They're friends with her. Like, Monique, you know, is cool with them. They respect her and know what she's done in the industry. And Monique explained her point. And here was Monique's point. Don't send me emails and correspondence saying, I'm a legend, I'm amazing, all of these things. Then you say to me, we need to send someone out to see your show before we decide if we're going to give you a special.
Right.
Your people come out. Not one person, but 2 people. Both people come back and say, it was hilarious. She was amazing. She hasn't missed a beat. She is on fire.
Yeah.
We must give her a special. And then you come at me with 500,000? And then I say to you, what's your calculation? How do you calculate that? How did you figure that? And you tell me, well, we have a formula that helps us figure out what we're going to pay people, you know, based on what we think we could make. And she says, well, how did you calculate with Amy Schumer? Well, Amy Schumer's done this, Amy Schumer's done that. And she says, well, when I asked you about me, you said, we don't look at your past history. But you're giving me nothing but Amy Schumer's history to determine. So how did you decide her history mattered and mine didn't? They didn't have an answer. Which is why she went to the public thinking we might support her. And that's the thing, like, you know, people are like, oh, well, Monique was quiet on Black Lives Matter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she was. Most people do. Yeah. Why? Because they don't want to alienate their fan base.
Right.
I get it. I don't agree, but I get it. It is what it is. And it just angers me because as a Black woman who has watched white women be promoted, who were less qualified, had less experience, things of that nature, over me and other Black women who were amazing and killing it.
And you can't say it's not without reason. There's always reason.
Like, I remember when I was 25, I was working for a government agency that shall remain nameless. But if you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see it. Look, the shade. Dang, my thought pop is not on today.
Don't worry, I'm drinking this on gas
Wait.
station when I get home.
I can't get it.
Take a sip, you'll get it.
No, it's not coming to me. think this is too dry.
It might be.
Still not. Nope.
I got it for you.
You got it for me. Thank you. My boss was retiring.
Mm-hmm.
His job was open. I fit all the qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing about me, and this is why I mentioned when I go to an interview, I typically kill it.
Yeah.
Typically, if I get an interview, I get the job. I've only had that one that I didn't get the job in my entire life. Whether it be a job I really want or not,
right.
I usually do. Because I come prepared. Like, I'm the type, I show up to an interview with a portfolio.
Yeah.
And it's a portfolio of, like, my experience with any trainings, any development, any education, blah, blah, blah. My resume, all of this stuff. Very nice, beautiful portfolio and a nice folder that you can keep with a photo of me on the front so you don't forget my face.
Look at that, look at that, look at that.
And I started that when I was like 22, fresh out of college. That's
Yeah.
just how I roll.
Right.
Job came up, I applied. Of the people in our organization, there were only 2 of us qualified. A young white girl and me. The lady making the final decision had a mentee who was my coworker. She was not qualified. All of a sudden, the job qualifications changed, which now made her qualified, so she could apply. So going into it, I knew
it was gonna be some bull.
It was gonna be some bull, and they tailored it for her.
Right.
We both interviewed. I know 3 people who sat on that interview panel. They said she did horribly, and I killed it. They didn't have to tell me that.
Right.
She did horribly, and I killed it, but they gave her the job.
Yeah.
Like, she is now an assistant commissioner in this organization. She is one of those people that if you're African American and you have education, she dogs you till you want to leave.
Because she's intimidated.
Exactly.
It's intimidation. And a lot of people in this world who go through racial indifferences and don't even realize that they're going through it. There are jobs out here who one of the qualifications in order to obtain that job is your race. They can't say it legally, they can't. But of course, you know, they might have you coming for an interview just to show that there's no bias on the selection of the position itself. But let's be honest, a lot of these big organizations, they don't have black girls as their administrative or executive assistants. They have white women. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to question their qualification at all. But I can guarantee you within that panel of people that they could have chosen, there was a little black girl who could have been qualified or who was qualified or overly qualified
and
who didn't get it.
Listen.
Because image is everything.
And this is what people don't understand. Like, I currently see that happening.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. And it grinds my gears for black women and black men because they don't like Monique's personality to ignore the reality of what she is saying.
Right.
Here I am, a black woman, that were I anybody else, I would have had all kinds of amazing roles coming off of Precious, and she didn't get them.
And see, it's in a mentality that it's probably etched in their mind that okay, well, Monique's not doing anything relevant right now, so she needs a little $500,000.
Well, and that's the thing. Don't think I'm desperate.
And
you don't know what I did with my coins.
She's showing that she's not desperate. She's showing that she's not desperate.
And then people keep telling her. So the biggest thing that also pisses me off is people keep telling her her husband shouldn't be her manager. Now, let me say this. I don't know how business savvy her husband is.
Right.
So I'm not going to speak on that side of it.
Right. We don't know his credentials.
Exactly. But when it comes to advocating for me, if I had to fight for myself, the only person other than like my sister that I think would go hard in the paint for me
is the man that you laid up with.
Is Ace. Right. Like, I guarantee now, Ace a little hood. So of course he'd be fighting in meetings. So
Yeah.
I could never let him be my manager.
I used to be busting that little wine bottle over there. Be
Right.
busting heads to the white meat.
But I get why she says what she said. Like the one thing she said is, I had white management.
Yeah.
I had corporate management. And they would tell me, oh, Monique, we're going to get them next time. Oh, we're going to ask them for the right thing next time. They did not fight for me.
Yeah.
They did not go hard for me.
Yeah.
But my husband, every time,
Yeah.
he goes to bat for me. And that's what I need.
And I believe that's not just because it's his job, but the love for his wife is there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, we can't speak on his credentials. We can't speak on his credibility on what he does. But he does fight for his wife. That's for sure.
And that's what any performer, artist, whoever who has representation, you need that.
Right.
Like, I think Ace is amazing when it comes to his rapping.
Mm-hmm.
But his biggest issue is he does not have a team.
Yeah.
He does not have somebody that can fight for him and go to bat for him.
Right.
I can try, but I don't really know how to navigate that.
Right.
But if he had the right manager, he'd be out of here.
Yeah.
Like, that's key.
It is. It is.
Because you don't just need a manager that's going to get you to the table. You need a manager that's going to get you to the table and fight for you to be respected and pushed.
It's not one rapper out here who's successful saying that they're self-made. You need a team.
Yes.
Period. And that's whether you still, spin your bars in a closet or if you go into a professional studio, you need a team because it's a car. You need the transmission, you need the engine, you need all that because that's what goes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's the reality. But her husband goes hard for her.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
And the one thing she said is she feels like people don't want to listen to him or respect him because he's a black man doing it.
Right.
Potentially.
Right.
And potentially people look at him like, oh, that's just her husband.
Right. They're not looking at him. And he might, I don't know him. I don't know who he has managed other than her. He may have, you know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, several women have done it. Mary J. Blige did it with Kendall.
Yeah, and look where that got her.
Candy's doing it with Todd.
Todd ain't shit. Let's speak about Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige, she got her star on the Walk of Fame.
Which, congrats, Mary.
Congrats. A long time coming.
I know.
But her little speech on her being homeless.
So,
I felt for her. Let me tell you something. I felt for her, but it angered me.
Why?
It angered me.
Why?
It angered me because I read this article back when I was in middle school, and it said, no matter how much money I made, even if I had a penny to my name, I was making my husband sign a prenup.
So let me say this.
I feel like Mary J. Blige did a lot of drugs, and Kendall came and he took her out of that slump that she was in, and she worshiped his flesh, and she, forgot who she was.
Well, here's the thing that's hard. You can be a woman who is self-made, builds yourself, and all of that. I remember older ladies used to always tell me when it comes to relationship and you saying, oh, I would never do this or I'd never do that, live longer.
You have told me that.
And I even remember my older sister and another older lady and I were talking. We all used to work together. We were talking about relationships and how sometimes the right one can have you looking at yourself in the mirror like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like my sister, she got her tubes tied at 21 after her first child.
Wow.
First of all,
doctors allowed that?
She did not want children.
Mm.
At all. She's the least maternal person that I have ever known.
Okay.
Had one. I was like, I'm done.
The one
I'm good.
done. Wow.
She got back with her high school sweetheart, untied them tubes and had 2 more kids.
Oh, yes.
In her 30s.
Oh,
late
wow.
30s. Never would have thought that would happen. And is an amazing mom to them. But the conversation was, sometimes you just don't know. That right one comes along and you looking like, damn, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
What the hell was I thinking? Mary knows better. She knows better. But Mary, Kendall for Mary, it's unfortunate because he came along at a time where she needed someone to treat her right and love her right and do
She
right
did.
by her.
She did.
And she thought he was the one.
She did.
And it's sad because not only did he mistreat her, he cheated on her with her own protege and spent her money on this chick.
Yeah.
And that is hard. That is hard because we think about like loving someone. You don't want to go into a relationship assuming it's gonna go bad.
Right.
You don't want to go into a relationship assuming
having a fallback plan.
yes. We got a caller. All right. Hey, caller.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to reach Miss Poison Ivy.
Hi there. How are you?
Hi. I listened to your show last week and I think that you're way too controversial.
You do?
I do.
Why?
Because, like, the way you come off, because this is DJ Fantasy, and I just wanted to say what's up because I was listening.
Hold on. This sound like. Hold on. Hold on. Fantasy? Okay. Wait a minute.
I was like, wait, what?
She
I'm
said,
too controversial. Wait.
She said because, and I was like, is that Chicago coming out?
Right. Hey, DJ Fantasy.
Hey, girl. I just got to let you guys know I still support you guys. I listen to the show on Friday nights when I'm free. And it was just, I knew when I said that you were going to be controversial. Like, hold on, bitch.
Look, you know what? Honestly, I was going to hear you out. Because if you had a valid argument, I was going to say, well, I understand why you feel like that, but I'm going to do...
Raul in the corner was like, hold up.
But I'm going to do me, you know?
Listen, first of all, I know better to call into No Filter Friday with you and also Jazzy and talk about controversial. Y'all would have told me that.
We'd have read you all the way from birth.
Let me reveal myself.
You know you got to come back.
I've been listening to the show. I told you I'm always on support. And I listen to you guys every Friday, and I love it. And I'm so glad you guys are back on air because I miss you.
We miss you. You got to come hang out with us.
Definitely.
We can do definitely for sure.
So anytime you are available, you let us know, and the door is open.
I miss you guys. People talking crazy through the top box.
Exactly. Look, because you know you be popping.
Isn't it funny that she came through on the day that you bought some gas station wine?
Did you hear that, Fantasy?
Right.
Look, I know. And as much hell as I gave her about her gas station wine.
Here you come.
Here I come with the gas station wine. I ain't gonna lie, I got it right from the...
Hold on. It's Poison Ivy.
Yes.
Also, Jazzy live around the corner, so I ain't trying to eat none of that.
Look, she know better. She says she gonna get us right next week.
Yeah, definitely.
But I know where she lives. I can walk to her house.
Literally.
All right, Jazz, you better watch it.
I hear you.
All right, well, thank you for calling, Fantasy. We love you, and come through anytime, okay?
Yes.
Love you too, babe. I just wanted to support you guys and let you know I am listening.
Thank you.
You know I love you, girl, to death. You're welcome, babe.
Bye.
Bye.
So, I'm so excited she called. I love Fantasy. Look, and I didn't catch the voice at first.
You didn't?
No.
I was like, wait, hold up.
Because I was about to be like, well, I mean, if I'm too controversial, then I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. So, I have been involved in some new Facebook groups.
I thought you were going to say some illegal activity. I'm about to say, you know what, let's cut to break.
Let me tell you something so funny that you just made me think of. I get so sidetracked. I'm like so all over the place. Why Ace and I are working on our taxes. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to get a tax transcript for both of us. And online, he couldn't get his because it kept telling him that he wasn't putting in the right address. So we called the IRS on three-way. to get his tax transcript.
Uh-huh.
So the people are like, yeah, you know, we saw that you filed taxes in 2009. He said, 2009? I ain't had no legal job.
Ace, you don't tell the people that.
I said, and the dude started laughing. I said, you did not hear that. I'm like, seriously? Seriously? You just told the dude from the IRS you didn't have a legal job? You do know, they said this is a recorded line. Are you kidding?
Oh, boy.
I know if anybody listens back to that call, they're going to be like, these two crazy as hell. Because we was cussing each other out. Like, it was crazy. It was funny. But Jazz.
Yes.
Jazz, hello?
Yes.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. But back to Mayor J. Blige.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, F Kendu. And let me tell you why I say that.
Mm-hmm.
You done already took some of my money and was spending it on a trick.
Yeah.
But then you gonna try to get like spousal support?
Spousal support to take care of his mama and take care of all these other people. And
This dude is getting like $30,000 a month.
That prenup would have came in handy.
Man, let me tell you. We gotta stop being digmatized.
That prenup would have came in handy. And see, the thing is, a lot of people feel like the prenup is one-sided. Just because she had money, that doesn't mean that Kendu wouldn't have came into some, you know, success along the way. Who's to say that? A lot of people look at prenup as very one-sided, and they look at it as if, well, I'm never going to get anything out the relationship, and that's not what it is. A prenup is just simply an agreement. Everybody has agreements.
Well, I already told Ace, you won't make it to collect a check from me if should that ever arise. So, better get your mind right. But we gotta take a quick break. You're listening to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNX Radio with Oh So Jazzy and Ms. Poison Ivy.
Creeping, cat it on high, my paint never dry. Forge it out on the rim and the ties, make it where niggas will never get by. Flipping the script on the hoe, shine up the grill and leave it glow. Paper the dip and never show, cut the parking lot with super stove. Players out here on game, dip it so cold on the hole of the two below that we can put out the flame. Of the blue hand of the roof of the coupe, all I got a band man who got change. Who got the number to the nearest bird it down and cluck the church for the click, hit the pole and do a split. Cause we ball wings, we ain't talking about flights, talking limit, come on, with the ice. Spent more on jail, I'm a steak and a shrimp, then more gon' make it ain't life. We ain't tripped up, never hit up from the drink. Pick up where I left off on the dank. Flexed out, never stressed out of chain. Stretched out, get spread down with the crank. You hear that duck? I make it where these motherfuckers fit that duck. When the rim too big and the road ain't shit. It make it hard to steer that there, but it big bang, big bang, big bang, big bang. One time I wake up, cake up, then press rewind. I got big bang, faces on a motherfucker. Ain't shit chain, cause I'm still getting still mine. Ain't no love for a hater trying to fly me, trying to play me. Motherfuckers never stop my stop sign. Yeah, they see me, but they still watch. They still. I got shining on rerun, on rerun. I got shining on rerun. Yeah, they see me, but they still watch. They still. I got shining on rerun, on rerun. I got shining on rerun. Big bank currency and revenue. Yeah, getting through all a nigga ever do. And all I care about is how to get it. No doubt, big numbers in front of my decimal check. Make sure it multiply. It's all I'm ever worried about. And slow money beat no money. What the fuck you ain't heard about, nigga? I'm saying. Stay into it, that broke shit ain't in my plan. Yeah, sleep with them dead. I'ma grind every day that I can. Got some kids, and I gotta make sure all of them fed. By any means, can't be no excuse. My children can't eat no excuses. My daughter can't sleep in excuses. My son, he see me with no paper, like keep your excuses. If you ain't producing, you useless. That's why I'm out here getting to it. Fresh at the booth, I go straight to the stage. Then I go straight to get paid. 100 I earn, 50 I save. My bitch don't be cleaning up, I need a maid. She don't be cooking, so I need a chef. Ain't giving me nothing, I get it myself. I'm doing my thing and I did it to death. Stacking them chips, getting that dough. Millions need me a couple hundo. Big mansion with a double front door. Pretty young thing in a new condo. Pray to God I can stay rich and stay humble. I got big bank faces on a motherfucker. Ain't shit time.
Earthlings and aliens, gather around. Come close while I tell you the story of fine-ass Denise and the 415s and the Caprice.
You're listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Hey, what's up? It's Jay-Z.
Hey, I'm Mariah Carey. Hey, it's Katy Perry.
It's your boy T.I.P. man. It is.
It's your boy Sean Kingston.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce. This is Nicki Minaj, and I'm in the mix with
IBNX Radio.
Hey, we're back. You're listening to No Filter Fridays right here on IBNXradio.com. And it is one of our favorite times of the day. It's time for That's Some Bullshit.
Bullshit.
You heard it.
Okay.
So, white women, no offense to my white friends out there. I have tons of white friends that I love, several that are like sisters from another mother.
My white friends have already received their black card and received their invitation to the cookout, so they don't fall in this category.
Exactly. So I always wonder when I post stuff like this,
who you're offending.
Yeah, but like one of my closest white girlfriends, she's definitely like a sister from another mother.
Yeah.
And so she and I usually will talk about stuff like that, but she's usually pretty good about
having an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this one pisses me off.
To extension.
So several white women are going to Facebook, Instagram, other places, and putting makeup like they've been beat up and saying that they got jumped or beat up at the Black Panther premiere.
Saying that they're not supposed to be there.
That is bullshit.
Complete bullshit.
It's not true. It's not happening. And that's the crazy thing. Like, black people are like, come out. Enjoy. We don't care. It's a movie. And at the end of the day, if you show up, you're making some black people richer. Have fun. We're not beating people up at these movies. Like, come on. And it's making me so angry because people are believing this crap.
Let me tell you something, white people. We are coming there in our full fur. Not faux. Okay, we're coming in our full fur, our African attire. We are not going to waste an outfit on getting your blood on us. That's just the reality of the situation. We are there for a purpose, and the purpose is to enjoy the Black Panther movie, period.
And what people don't understand is the movie, I think, let me tell you what is the thing that's confusing white people who are not in the know. It's the name. White people who are not in the know instantly associate the name to the Black Panther Party.
Right.
Now, potentially, when they created the Black Panther character, that's where they got it from. But it's not about militant resistance and all of that crap that they keep trying to make it about. You know, there's a whole group
on Facebook
dedicated to boycotting Black Panther.
Right.
Talking about because how dare they have a black movie with no white people? First of all, if you look at the previews,
there
it's white people.
White people in the damn movie.
Exactly. So that's bull.
But there's plenty of white movies out there with not one touch of a nigga in it. Okay.
Exactly. So miss me.
Please miss me.
So my huge that's some BS goes out to those white women who are going out this weekend claiming they got beat up or jumped or whatever at the Black Panther premiere. Stop trying to ruin things for us.
Please, because your mother is laid up with the black man right now.
And at the end of the day, no matter how many black people be up in her, she still will not be black. Or how many mixed kids come out of her, she still ain't black.
Boom. That was enough bullshit for me.
And that was enough bullshit for me too. I am ready for That's What's Up.
Yes. Hey.
Yes. Can we hear that again, please? Engineer, can we hear That's What's Up again? Because that gets me hyped. It's too short.
Way too short.
We need it to be longer.
A little bit longer, yeah.
Well, I guess not. That's okay. So my That's What's Up goes to Kendrick Lamar. Because Kendrick Lamar rented out 3 theaters for low-income children to be able to see Black Panther.
That's awesome.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of the things I've been hearing a lot of, like, radio personalities and different people say is they hope kids can get to see the movie. Like, you know, interestingly enough, I really want to, like, take our kids to see it and, you know, all of that. I don't know if we'll get to go this weekend because Ace has to work, but I do want to make sure they see it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a ton of black superheroes, but you definitely don't have them being the lead in a movie.
Right, right.
So, and from what I understand, this is like a beautiful view of like this country where black is beautiful. It's lots of black people, blah, blah, blah. So I want to make sure that my children see that.
Yeah. I agree.
So I give a That's What's Up to Kendrick because some of these kids would never get to see it. Do you know how expensive it is to go to the movies now?
Too expensive. Like, if it wasn't for Groupon, girl.
Listen, Ace and I went to the movies without Groupon, and I was like, what the hell?
I'm telling you. I am telling you.
I can't listen. And
then you gotta buy, like,
girl.
And then you know what I heard? This is what's up, too, okay? So I read somewhere that it's not true that you can't bring your own food and refreshments into the theater. That's not true. That's false. You're more than welcome to. Now, don't go ahead and go and say that, well, Oh So Jazzy said. But I read an article.
They're gonna be like, who, now who? Does she own
You mean
stock?
Oh So Jasmine from IBNX Radio?
Look, no, they're gonna be like, does she own stock in AMC? No.
Well, I read somewhere where it says that is not a rule or regulation that you are breaking by bringing your own food. Now, please, black people, don't bring Popeyes and stuff that's gonna have you smacking. You know, don't do that.
Or smelling. Because that's the thing. Like, if you brought some chips, a soda, some Twizzlers.
I was gonna bring some Juicy Crab and get it in.
Y'all, if y'all could see my face that I just made to Oh So Jazzy.
I won't do that.
Really?
But yeah, I definitely agree. I think that this is a great movie for our little black kids to finally have something to look up to. I know us growing up, you know, we had like the Cheetah Girls, and we had a lot of different movies that came on Disney Channel that had black people. Okay, I said the Cheetah Girls. Okay, but no. Like,
no, I was laughing because I was like, I was grown. No, I wasn't grown. I wasn't grown. I'm just exaggerating. But
no, but it's definitely something for them to look at.
I was a teenager.
But so you could have, you know, wanted to be a Cheetah Girl too.
I did not. I allowed my niece to be into the Cheetah Girls.
Well,
I supported her obsession with the Cheetah Girls.
This is something that I wanted, you know what I'm saying? But to see little chocolate girls and girls with curly hair on TVs was something that was like, oh, okay, I could do it too. So I'm happy for this movie. Even if I've heard it's amazing, but even if it was complete trash, it's still something for them to look up to. So it's definitely That's What's Up.
And another That's What's Up to all the people going to the movie dressing up.
Yes.
I've been seeing the photos on Facebook, and I'm just like, yes, I love it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's just so amazing and so beautiful. Girl, a dude dressed up like Prince Hakeem from Coming to America.
Yes.
Came through with he had
the little lion on
the lion, the necklace, the hat. Like, what? And this is all over the country. This is not just concentrated in, like, Atlanta.
Our black community. And then also I wanted to address, a lot of people are saying, well, you guys who are woke are not as woke as you want to be because this is still a white movie. Yes, the movie is still produced by a white company and predominantly white producers. That's fine, but this is all about image. It's all about just visual, where then little kids can go to the theater and see people who look like them fighting crimes. Because when you honestly think about it, it's a lot of movies where we're drug dealers and we're bad people and we're, you know, the guilty. So it's good for them to go and see some positivity. That's it. That's all it is.
I agree. So that's what's up.
That's what's up.
Well, Jazz, what you got planned for the weekend?
Furniture shopping.
Okay.
and I've been putting it off for so long because I just feel like it's gonna be so dreadful, because when it's like a forever purchase like that, I can be a little bit more indecisive, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing.
I'm relaxing.
I relaxed last week. I mean, to the point where I did none of my domestic duties. No laundry, no cooking, no shopping.
Okay, my relaxing includes all of that stuff.
That's not relaxing for me. I did nothing.
Yeah, I'll be doing laundry and that kind of stuff. Ironically, school is out next week.
Monday.
Winter break.
Winter break?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
The kids are out of school for a whole week.
In Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my child goes to DeKalb County. They will be in school.
Well, it's so ridiculous because they gave us the option to give up Monday,
President's Day,
Tuesday, and then one day in March to make up the snow days. The majority of us chose that.
But they're doing the 15-15 or 30-30 or whatever?
No, they just decided to add 30 minutes to the end of the school day.
That's ridiculous.
And that's not what people voted for. But we're adjusting, you know. I mean, honestly, for me, it's no big deal because I'm already there extra 30 minutes anyways.
I don't mean to offend anybody, but the Atlanta public school system, y'all are not raising the brightest stars in the sky, the sharpest tools in the shed, the brightest colors in the coloring box. So y'all might want to rethink about all these breaks you have these kids taking. I don't recall taking as many breaks as these kids get nowadays.
So first, I'm offended by that as an educator from the Atlanta Public Schools. But all the schools have the winter break, but some of them chose to give it up to meet the snow days. So like Fulton County chose to give up some of their days to meet the snow days. The CAB has it, but I don't know if they're not doing winter this year. So maybe they chose to give up winter to make up for.
But even
snow
when
days.
when we lived in Gwinnett last year, he didn't have a winter break either.
Yeah, they started doing this a couple of years ago. The winter break.
I'm from the South.
It used to be just now typically it used to be like Christmas break and then spring break. That was it. Those were your breaks.
And then you had like a few days for Thanksgiving, and that's it.
Well, yeah, of course, Thanksgiving. But they added the winter break as professional development opportunities.
Are the professionals really developing?
Yes. So, like, for instance, Monday, we have training all day for the teachers. But then they have the rest of the week out, which I'll be there.
I wouldn't be there. There's no reason for me to be there. Then I would not be there. But I understand. I get it.
Well, when you hit the administration level.
I'm naturally a rebellious person. So I would just go MIA, right before, and then come back like, girl, I got kidnapped. But I'm
you would be so fired. So, so I will be there.
Unfortunately.
Except Friday. I took Friday off.
Okay.
And my boss asked me today. She said, are you going out of town? You have plans? I said, no, girl, I got to take my braids out. That's really why.
That's why they won't put black women in places of leadership.
No, honestly, but first of all, school is closed.
Right.
All my teachers are gone. It makes no sense for me to even be there. Like,
right.
I really could have taken the whole week.
I'd rather you do that than take your braids out while you're at your desk, because y'all black women need to stop that. I'm tired.
Honey.
Baby.
Listen. I remember when I first was fresh out of college and I was teaching pre-K, I remember I was about to tell this story, then I realized it was me that did it. It was ghetto.
I used to intern at this Christian school, and I had braids at this point, and it was a class full of white kids, and I needed help taking my braids out, and I put them kids to work. Here, Ashley, you take this one. Brittany, you take this one. Melinda,
now see, that's too ghetto.
But
But what I was about to the story I was about to say is, I remember I did my homegirl's quick weave on the playground.
Stop.
I did. I was 22, fresh out of college, teaching pre-K, and I was working at a private school. And
I think that's worse than mine.
I did a quick weave on the playground.
No, that's worse.
It was
than
during
me.
nap time, so the kids would sleep, nobody saw. But
mine was an educational adventure.
No,
okay?
you involved the
Ashley
children.
knows now how to take out braids. Melinda knows how to take out braids, and so does Brittany.
See, no.
Broom.
When you involve the children in your ratchetness,
that was not ratchet.
I at least excluded the children and just
Ashley, Brittany, and Melinda will no longer ask a black woman is that their real hair or not because they have to put it in the garbage. Go ahead. Don't mess with it because it'll get on your shoes.
To be honest, but honestly, the real reason why I took off and I didn't feel comfortable telling her this is because I have joined. I mentioned to you, I joined some Facebook groups, and they are geared towards women getting involved in politics and trying to. And most of the women are Democratic women.
Okay.
Trying to flip the seats from red to blue.
Yeah.
Trying to get Democratic candidates in office and things of that nature.
Advocating.
So, yes, I'm really big on advocating for voters' rights, voting, and ensuring we have suitable candidates in office and things of that nature. So we have an event that day.
Okay.
So I really took off so I could go to that. But I didn't feel like that was none of her business, so I just told her I was taking my braids out because that was the first thing that popped in my mind, which I plan on doing after the meeting.
Right.
But really, I took off because I initially was going to go to work and then try to go to the meeting on my lunch break, but then I'm like, I ain't coming back.
Yeah.
So I might as well just take off.
Right.
No, I'm just not going to do it. So I hope you have an amazing weekend.
Likewise.
Thank you. I hope so too. I'm about to go home and make some nachos.
Oh, on a Friday night.
Yeah, I probably won't make them till tomorrow. I ain't gonna lie. But thank you all for tuning in to another edition of No Filter Fridays right here on IBNXradio.com. Also, Jazzy, please tell them how they can follow you.
You can follow me at Jasmine_Beautiful on IG, and
you can follow me at It's Ms. Poison Ivy at IG as well. And you can follow us at No Filter Fridays on IG. Is that what it is?
No Filter Radio.
No Filter Radio. All right. Thanks for listening. Peace.
IBNX Radio.
Jazz, it was fun as always.
We haven't cut a fool in here for a while, though. We're going to cut a fool next Friday, though. It's been a while.
I know. I'm ready.
Are we still doing the,
Oh, yeah.
the dating thing?
I got to talk to Trish about that. I need to reach out to old girl, too. And I got to talk to Trish about seeing about like what I need to record. Because I think I have the program on my computer already. So I should be able to do it. Is your program stick?
Yeah.
You want to stick it in here?
Sure. So you got it from the Circle K? You just terrible.
That's the gas station by my house. I told you it was gas station wine. Listen, I was on